Hello, this is Zoo, and we are back with Survival of the Pack in Slough Creek, Wolfquest 2.7. Today we're going to be teaching our pups the value of staying near the den and hopefully going to do some of the other quest lines in order to prepare us for the final journey. It is to be noted that there has been a transition into spring. If you did not catch that earlier, that's what happens when you are ready for your pups. You will also notice that there were 4 pups in total in the last video. Now before I get much further, please subscribe and like if you're interested in what I'm doing here. But now that we got that out of the way, let's go ahead and get in and see where we're at. As you can see, we have this decent flyover into our den with our pups. Now I have reduced graphic settings in order to ensure that there's less graphic and audio delay. I did notice a little bit of that in the last video, so don't worry too much if things look a little bit less, well, realistic. Even though this is already a video game and not supposed to be entirely realistic, it's based somewhat to be realistic. So right now we have to train our pups, stay safe and close to the den. If you remember, we named our pups. We have Frost, Lily, George, and Deer, I believe. But as you can see, the little puppy icons are up there now that I have my pups. So I'm going to go ahead and get into this. And it says my pups are getting hungry, so I'll need to get food. Luckily, in our last episode, I got way too much food and we'll definitely have enough. So I'm going to do that real quick before I actually decide to start my training. And what you want to do is fill that food bar up, with which, if you noticed, will have appeared off to the left side of the screen right below your compass. Now, it is good to always have even a little bit of food on you at all times, because pups will actually stay close to you if you do so. This is just a fact. It's because they will do this little begging animation because they're begging for food. But in order to do that, they'll have to be close to you. So if you move, they might move a little bit closer to you. Now, again, the first part of this episode is training your pups to stay near the den. So I'm going to put Deer all the way over here so I can pick him up, bring him over so I can show you the drastic difference of what exactly happens when you put him back by the den. If you notice, that little blue bar up in the top corner has increased. When it's completely full, you will have completed your first part of rearing your pups, which is training them to stay close to the den where it's safe. So I'm going to keep doing this until they're ready. Now if you notice as well, when you're carrying your pups, the energy bar is going down. This is going to be very important later for the journey that you're going to make, and I keep mentioning this, and it's a bit of a spoiler, but it's going to be important, so I should keep mentioning it. Alright, we're back, and as you can see, that little blue bar has filled up completely, and mission is now complete. It says, congratulations, you have taught your pups to stay nearby to keep safe. You're ready to continue your quest for survival. You may want to save your game now, which I will do in just a moment. But the next part is to defend your pups. This is where I mentioned predators are going to become a problem, because pups are basically a snack they can come and eat. At least that's what it is in their mindset. So you kind of need to make sure your pups don't turn into snack food to other things such as cougars, stranger wolves, bears, and coyotes. However, stranger wolves won't actually eat your pups, they just see them as competition, so they may kill them and run. But you'll see that in a bit. Alright, so now what we're basically going to be doing is keeping an eye on our pups and waiting for a predator to show up. In the meantime, you'll want to keep that blue bar up because that's going to help you again in the long run. Oh, and there's the zoom in. Something I failed to mention previously in this is that there is a Wolfquest soundtrack, but I have actually muted it for the purpose so that you can hear me talk. I'm pretty sure you'll probably want to hear the soundtrack instead, but for the simple purposes of a walkthrough, I decided to leave that muted. But because I am mentioning this, you should know if you're using the soundtrack, different music will appear for different events in the in-game world. Like if a predator would show up, it would start playing scary music and you'd have the zoom in. Now, because there's a zoom in, I don't really need the music active, I just kind of know when they come up. Coyotes you do have to literally kill in order for them to go away. Sorry, coyotes. You could have been programmed to run away after a few nips, but no. So the coyotes do have to be killed regardless. Other animals such as bears and cougars can be chased off along with stranger wolves. You'll lower their health a bit, maybe give them a bit of a scare, but not enough to be much of a problem. So I'm going to do my best to stay as close as possible to them because the last thing I would want to do is accidentally end up getting some of my pups dead. Now I'm gonna go... If you notice, I just took a lot of damage. What you want to do is go eat from that carcass you probably have stashed near the den. So grizzlies, cougars, and I believe sometimes stranger wolves will take some health off you. But other than that, you should be mostly fine. Every time you leave the den, a message will pop up. If you were paying attention, you probably would have seen it. But this is telling you that your pups are safe, and if you've left, you're fine. Now, you can't tell your mate to stay at the den. Your mate actually follows you wherever you go, but they will go and fetch food from a carcass and bring it back to the pups, because in the AI it doesn't let it fall below 50, I believe. If they do, Spruce, basically, as my example, will run up to that deer carcass over there. Pardon me, elk. That's a sad day when I can't determine the difference between a deer and an elk. He'll run up there, get some, and then bring it back to the lowest health pup. Other than that, he'll mostly stay near you and the pups. By the way, you can play bow in order to increase that blue bar if you don't feel like grabbing the pup, bringing it all the way out, and then bringing it back in. So yeah, this is basically it. You wait for the amount of predators to come and you defend them, and when that's over with, all you have to do is then wait for the defense message to say, "Congratulations, you have successfully," there you go, managed to fend off predators and stranger wolves and keep your pups alive. You're ready to continue your quest for survival. So at this point, I would go and, I believe it's feed my pups as much as possible. Yes, grow your pups. This is the grow your pups. You want them to put on weight so they'll be strong enough to take the journey, not strong enough necessarily to defend themselves and hunt, obviously because they're pups, but strong enough to be able to take a long journey. So we're going to do that now. I'm going to go ahead and get some health because, as you can see, again, I took some damage from that cougar. I'm going to go feed my pups. So now it's just going to be a bunch of running back and forth and still keeping an eye out for predators. George is getting a bit hungry, so we'll get him some food. So yeah, this is pretty much how you keep your pups alive. And you try your very hardest to make sure they don't die. Now, since this is easy mode, it would be a little sad if you managed to get all 4 of your pups dead, but if it happens, I will not judge because I'm never going to say it never happened to me. Because it has. If you're on BIO, well, everyone completely understands if you give up after a couple of hours. Now I'm going to go ahead and get some more food, just real quick. And if you don't really know how much weight your pups are gaining, because they all need to be, I think it's about roughly 15, maybe a little over. I'm pretty sure I should have read the instructions a bit more. But 15, 16 pounds. Oh, there's a coyote by the den. And a fox. That's random. Don't you dare. Something to be mentioned, and this actually happens a lot in multiplayer dens. Coyotes have this special Enderman ability where they will basically teleport away while you're chasing them, and you have no clue where they went. The best thing to do in this case scenario is to chase them down and hope that everything ended out okay. I will be right back. Alright, let's go ahead and continue to feed. So if you're wanting to see how much they weigh, go to pack stats, which is in your menu, and you will see on the side here by their names and their health what their weight is. I'm gonna go ahead and see that Deer, George, and Frost are all a little behind Lily, so I'm gonna feed them in specific and then feed Lily again and then go in that order. And that's how you know where to feed them. Oh. Stranger wolves are a very annoying hazard because if you don't get them in time, they will immediately kill your pups. They will even pass right by you, unlike the cougar and grizzly. Make sure that they don't get too close. I'm gonna go ahead and add a few pounds to my puppies, and I will be right back. Alright, as you can see, I have completed the mission, and we are ready to continue on to the next and final part of our journey. This is literally called the final journey, and we're gonna go ahead and say let's go because we want to get out of here. So basically you will see the star, similar to that in Slough Creek, Amethyst Mountain to transition to Slough Creek, appear on the compass, and you'll need to go there, and I'll show you where exactly it is on the map, but let's go ahead and click done. I am going to go ahead and save because you never know. Now, you can hardly see it, but it's a very tiny green dot. From the previous episode, this is actually the closest end to the rendezvous site that I'm currently at. Now, you see that thing right there where it says sandbar crossing? This is where you're actually going to be crossing because you can't actually go into wolf territory. That's a problem. When we get there, I will let you see exactly why this is a problem. But in the meantime, let's go ahead and start our journey. And basically to do that, you're going to be picking up your pups. You're going to be moving in the general direction of the river, the blue line up there. As you can clearly see. There's a coyote over here I may have to deal with. Now I would stay at a trot because it seems to do a lot better with your stamina. As you need to continue to carry them, it can be a bit complicated. Spruce will bring you pups if they're too far away. That coyote is asking for trouble. I'm gonna get rid of this coyote real quick. He seems a little bit confused by all the bushes, but that's fine. Okay, we should be fine. Now, as you can see, your pups are following you. This is due to your high pack affinity, which is that blue bar we mentioned earlier. They shouldn't stray too much, so you don't have to worry about that. You do want to keep your food bar full and your pups rather healthy because predators can detect a sick pup. Now I'm going to go ahead and head again off the general direction of the, oh, hang on here, bit of a bug, the carcass. Let me go back up, finish it off, and hopefully, there we go. Alright, so essentially all you want to do is just head in the general direction of the river. Keep an eye out for eagles, as that is something that's added on the journey, and are considered a serious threat to your pups, as unlike a cougar or coyote, they'll literally swoop out of nowhere and just pick your pup up, and there goes your pup. We wouldn't want something to happen to Lily, George, Frost, or Deer. So your mate is supposed to go, there we go, and bring your pups to you if they're a bit too far away, like they are now. The AI sometimes takes a while to kick in, but don't try and worry about it too much. If you get closer to the green site, which is the rendezvous site, and you're starting to have problems with your mate randomly walking off into infinity and never coming back, then I'd be getting a bit more worried, but we should be good. Now I'm going to go ahead and feed George because I'm actually going to go get a bit more food from that one elk carcass that I left behind earlier. Also going to do the same for Lily, Deer, and Frost. Looks like we have a bit of rain coming. Hopefully we can get rid of that clutter. Sorry if we get a bit of lag right there. Due to the rain and thunderstorm, as well as the elk herd spawning in, we may actually just see a bit. Now, I'm gonna feed these pups real quick, and then I'm gonna go get some food, and then I'm gonna head to the river, and then I will be right back. Hello, we're back. I'm not quite to the river, but I wanted to show you something pretty cool. If you look over there, there is a tree on fire. Oh, it just got out. But basically this can happen. People are still unaware exactly what this does in the game. It may do absolutely nothing that affects your pup, but there is rumor that it does cause them to scatter and panic. Alright, I will be right back. We're almost to the river. Alright, we are at the river crossing point. Spruce got a little bit overeager, so I had to chase after him with Lily. But this is essentially where you'll want to cross. You'll notice there is a gravel bed here, basically. And this is how you're going to know where to cross. Now make sure your energy bar is completely filled, because I would hate to see your pup get like stuck in the middle of a river, but that can happen. And Spruce is way ahead of me. Way too ahead of me. Now, if you notice, you may be seeing the reflection of my wolf. That's because I turned down the graphics of the river just so that we wouldn't skip. Hopefully Spruce doesn't do anything too drastic. Sometimes he might just end up doing that. Because he feels like he needs to ensure peps are safely across. Again, the AI pathfinding is a little bit weird, but that's okay. We're not judging, are we, Spruce? Okay. He's helping though, which is a bit unusual. I haven't actually seen Spruce do much helping in this case. Go get some food real quick. Pretty sure nothing drastic will happen, just for the moment, at least. Now I'm gonna go across the river and hope Spruce gets the general idea that I need him to get the pups across. So I'm gonna feed Lily, and I'm gonna go ahead and not feed Deer because I want to again keep my food for the most part completely full. Thank you, Spruce, for bringing Frost. As you can see, Spruce is gonna go all the way over there to feed the pups. Now, as you can see, we're getting closer to that little star icon, which again is that really tiny green dot that you really can't see. I wish they would make it a bit bigger, but that's okay. Let's hope that Spruce doesn't eat all the food because we might need that in a little bit. I'm gonna go ahead and get close to this elk carcass. So if you try to go through wolf territory, rather than crossing the river, you will run into a problem with stranger wolves, and they will say you better turn around and leave, and your character is literally forced to turn around and leave. I'm good, I think he fed Lily. He's making sure all the pups are fed. Again, that AI that tells him not to make sure that all pups are fully fed and past 50% is gonna do a lot of good. Go ahead and feed George. I'm gonna feed Lily as well. Frost. I think Deer is full. No, he's not. So I'm gonna feed all 4 of them and then fill up on this elk carcass that I hunted earlier. Journey food. Similar to boat snack from Maui. Oh, that is a problem. Go away, coyote. They're very much pests. Alright, what were we up to again? Ah, yes. So they're all fully fed now, and if you look over there, ooh, we have a good example of stranger wolf territory. You can see there's 4 wolves just standing there, staring at me. Very creepy. We're just gonna go onward here and ignore them. But essentially, this rendezvous site is basically where these pups will spend their summer getting, as you could say, plump and learning how to hunt small game such as hares or other small creatures. But for now, just gonna run over there. When I get a little bit closer, I'll show you what I'm talking about. Alright, we are back, and we are getting rather close to the tree line and the clearing, which will be considered the rendezvous site. Now, something I may have forgotten to mention, your mate does not attack cougars or bears, or coyotes, or stranger wolves. I don't really know why this is. In fact, one of the most useful things he will do, and when I mean that, I mean it sarcastically, will be running around the den in circles and panicking, basically is what it looks like. And the grizzly will just walk up and eat your pup while he does that. Poor Spruce. Not the brightest in the patch, but that's okay. We understand. Not really. Get some better AI. Of course, I can't complain too much, because again, the game has been remade and there's a newer version out, so it's not so bad. Something to take in consideration when you are hunting, and the rain is back. Everyone loves the rain. Of course, that's kind of being judgmental, because admittedly, when we first heard weather was going to be a thing and it was coming out, everyone got excited. Pretty sure that tree's on fire. Yeah, we're going to ignore that. But it's not too bad. Spruce will still ensure, though, that your puppies won't fall below a certain percentage, so it's not so bad. What are you doing? What are you... Okay, well, I don't know what that was about. He's got a mission, but we don't exactly understand what it is quite yet. Alright, and here we are. This is the clearing that I was talking about. Now, all I have to do is reach it and howl. Howling will let your family know where it is, and this is basically how you complete your final mission. And I'm gonna gonna do some howling, hopefully, to get everyone over here. And I'm gonna save real quick just in case anything would happen that we don't want to happen. Where is Spruce? Spruce, what are you doing? Okay. You could do the one useful divining trait and either feed the pups or bring one to me. Oh, the rain's gone. That's perfect. Or not. That's fine too. Maybe I'll go ahead and... Oh, there they come. So we should just be about ready. Almost. There we go. I would say that is perfect. And that is how you do it. That is how you survive the Slough Creek episode. And that's it, basically. So, the next part of this episode will be me going over the new Anniversary Edition episode of Amethyst Mountain and Slough Creek. As always, if you have liked what you have seen, and you enjoy Zoo talking in your ear all the time, I know, I love the sound of my own voice too. Please subscribe and like, and I'll see y'all next time.